I was transmigrated into a cheesy high school novel. But I got a cheat code, I can edit the plot. The male lead, Jaden, wanted to prank the female lead, Crystal. He hung a bucket of water over the ceiling fan. I just smirked and changed water to feces. The fan spun to life on its highest setting. Splat. A torrent of brownish, unidentified liquid rained down like a grotesque confetti shower. The hero and heroine were instantly transformed into dung beetles, screaming as they fled the classroom. "What's up, fam? It's your girl, Serena, always keeping it cool. Quick heads up, you can now listen to novels on Echo Music with your screen off. They've even got a must-listen list curated by yours truly, perfect for immersive reading, doing homework, or just slacking off. Just hit the Echo Music link in the corner." Now, let's get back to the story. I became the villainess in an old-school Mary Sue high school romance. The female lead, Crystal Shang, was a poor but resilient White Lotus type. After a chance enrollment at our elite prep school, her innocent charm immediately captivated the male lead, Jaden King. Jaden went crazy for her, vowing she was the only one for him. The problem? I was his fiancé. Crystal would nestle in Jaden's arms, tears streaming down her face, sniffle, "Serena is your fiancé. I'll always just be the other woman." Jaden would lick his lips with a devilish smirk. The winds are turning cold. It's time for the Song family to go bankrupt. With a wave of his hand, my family, the Songs, were ruined, and I died a tragic death on the streets. The main couple got their happily ever after, and the story ended. I was furious. The moment I transmigrated, I woke up on a bus with my entire class. It was the day of the junior class field trip. "Serena, I saw Crystal cozying up to Jaden again. We should teach her a lesson later," my friend Leah whispered conspiratorially. "Maybe we can get a few guys to rough him up?" My gaze fell on Crystal and Jaden sitting in the front. A wicked smile played on my lips. No, they're in for a real treat. Their trope was bickering lovers, so of course, they were assigned seats together. They argued and shoved each other the whole way. A typical lover's quarrel. Then, the plot point arrived. Original text. Crystal Shang accidentally steps on a piece of bubble gum that Jaden King spat on the floor, getting it all over her shoe. I changed a piece of bubble gum spat on the floor to a spray of bubbly poop on the floor. Jaden's face suddenly went rigid. With a gulp, he swallowed his bubble gum. Then, as if possessed, he stood up and unbuckled his belt. Crystal stared, horrified. Was he going to strip in public? Was he insane? Under the bewildered gazes of everyone on the bus, Jaden tossed his belt aside and yanked his pants, underwear and all, down to his knees. A tiny chili pepper was exposed to the air. Ah, my eyes. It's so cringe. Oh my god, it's so small. Holy crap. A chorus of shrieks filled the bus. The girls covered their eyes, feeling violated. Jaden's face was beet red as he uncontrollably turned around, aiming his backside at Crystal. Crystal was about to lose her mind. She tried to escape, but she was in the window seat, completely blocked by Jaden. Pfft. Jaden gripped the seat back for dear life as a bubbly stream of poop erupted from him, narrowly missing Crystal's white dress. Perhaps because of the bubble gum he'd swallowed, his butt even blew a large, foul bubble. Crystal shrieked, hopping frantically in place. In her panic, she stepped right into the mess. The poop splattered everywhere, staining her white dress yellow. A foul stench filled the bus. The other students were screaming, and I, pulling a stunned Leah close, let out a cackle like a deranged hen. Ha ha ha. In that moment, Leah's image of Jaden as a handsome, rich, and cool guy shattered completely. A girl timidly offered Jaden a pack of tissues. Having finished his business, Jaden looked at the disaster on the floor and exploded with rage. Shit, what are you little girls screaming about? No man can control his lower body, you get it? Jaden was the son of A City's richest man. No one dared to cross him, so the students reluctantly opened the windows to air out the bus and sat in terrified silence. After Jaden and Crystal changed into spare clothes, the bus continued on its way. By the time we reached the field trip destination, it was noon. The school had prepared nutritious boxed lunches for us. Our meals were normal, but when Crystal opened her lunchbox, her eyes instantly reddened. Inside, her food was mixed with sand, stones, and even a caterpillar. This was undoubtedly Jaden's handiwork. As bickering lovers, he loved playing pranks on her. Her tears brought him a sick sense of satisfaction. Jaden King, what is wrong with you? Do you enjoy seeing me humiliated? Crystal fought back tears. Jaden smirked cruelly, raising an eyebrow. What are you talking about, little deskmate? You can't just do whatever you want because you're rich. I won't bow to you. The resilient little white lotus was about to erupt. Original text, Crystal Shang slams the lunchbox full of sand and caterpillars onto Jaden King's head. I changed sand and caterpillars to lice and maggots. Crystal shot up, grabbing her lunchbox and forcefully dumping it over Jaden's head, screaming, "We poor people have dignity too." Rice-sized maggots wriggled down Jaden's hair. Even more insidious were the lice, too small to see, crawling into his scalp. Jaden felt his head itch and subconsciously went to scratch it. His fingers closed around a squirming maggot. "Crystal, what is this?" Jaden went ballistic, flailing his arms, trying to fling the maggot off, but it stuck to his hand like glue. Maggots crawled all over his body, itchy and disgusting. Jaden had a full-blown meltdown. What the hell are these things? He jumped around like a middle-aged woman doing Zumba, waving his arms wildly. Maggots flew off him, one landing on Crystal's little leather shoe. Attracted by the smell, it tried to burrow inside. Crystal froze, her mind blank. She let out an involuntary scream. She was so stupid. She shouldn't have opened her mouth. As she screamed, a maggot flying off Jaden sailed right into it. Crystal hadn't eaten all morning and was starving. The moment something entered her mouth, she chewed instinctively. It was soft, and it burst with juice. Honestly, the flavor wasn't half bad. Leah, witnessing this, was flabbergasted. She gripped my arm, her jaw on the floor. "Holy crap, Serena, she's eating a maggot." I glanced at her. "What's so weird about it? Crystal is soft and tender, and so are maggots. It's perfectly normal for her to like them." The surrounding students started murmuring. "Yeah, you are what you eat. She's near maggots, so she becomes tender. That makes sense. Maybe that's her secret to such pale skin." Whoa, that's possible. She's really committed to her beauty routine. When Crystal heard the gossip, she finally realized what a foolish thing she'd done. She had eaten a live maggot. Her body trembled violently, and she swayed, nearly fainting on the spot. Jaden was on the verge of a complete breakdown. He frantically brushed the maggots off himself, screeching, "What the hell are you all staring at? Get over here and help me. And you, Crystal Shang." Jaden's cronies had no choice but to step forward and help him pick off the maggots. Crystal, snapping out of it, felt a wave of guilt. She was kind and simple-hearted. She had dumped the lunchbox on his head. It was her duty to help him. With tears in her eyes, Crystal pushed Jaden's friends aside. "It's all my fault. Let me do it." She sobbed softly as she picked the maggots off Jaden. But Crystal didn't know that Jaden didn't just have maggots. He had lice, too. And lice are contagious. After finally cleaning all the maggots off Jaden, Crystal sniffled, looking at him with immense guilt. I am so sorry. It's all my fault. If I hadn't dumped the lunchbox on your head, you wouldn't have." Her eyes and nose were red, making her look like a frightened, adorable bunny. Jaden felt a fire ignite in his loins, a sudden urge to possess her. He flashed a wicked smile, licked his lips, and said, "All right, sign this master-servant contract. Be my little maid, and I'll forgive you." Crystal's eyes grew even redder. Huge tears rolled down her smooth, pale cheeks. "You, Jaden King, how could you humiliate me like this?" As the prince teased his little white lotus beauty, Leah's face beside me soured. She ground her teeth and said coldly, "Serena, that Crystal is so shameless. Everyone at this school knows you're Jaden's fiancé. That bitch not only doesn't keep her distance, she throws herself at him, playing hard to get." Ugh. I shot her a look. "And Jaden is blameless? If he didn't give her the opportunity, would she have a chance to get close?" Leah fell into thought. This was how the villainess in those old-school sweet novels acted, mindlessly jealous. In the end, neither Crystal nor Jaden ate lunch. Crystal had swallowed a maggot and lost her appetite. As for Jaden, his scalp was itching uncontrollably. He kept scratching, sending flakes of dandruff flying everywhere. After lunch, the students dispersed for free activities. Our task was to find a beautiful plant to press as a specimen. In the original novel, this is where Crystal gets her superpower. Her tears turn into pearls. In the afternoon, Crystal was walking alone in the woods, searching for pretty leaves, when she ran into me and Leah. The moment she saw me, her eyes turned red, and she looked down guiltily, her body trembling slightly. Serena, Leah, we hadn't said a word, but she was acting as if we were bullying her. Leah couldn't stand Crystal's damsel in distress act. She spat on the ground and snapped, "Jaden isn't here. Who are you putting on a show for? So pathetic and fake. Being scolded, Crystal's eyes instantly welled up. Huge tears rolled down and hit the ground, turning into pearls. Leah was stunned. Holy crap, Serena, her tears. I wasn't surprised at all. I bent down, picked up a pearl, and placed it in Crystal's hand with a slight smile. Crystal, make sure you hold on to your things. With that, I grabbed Leah and walked away. At the same time, my modification system activated. Original text. After Crystal discovers her tears can turn into pearls, she can't help but cry, catching them with a large leaf. I changed cry to poop. I pulled Leah behind a tree to watch Crystal secretly. Leah blinked, looking at me skeptically. Serena, what are we doing? Just watch. Suddenly, Crystal bent over, clutching her stomach. It was gurgling loudly. She gritted her teeth as a cold sweat beaded on her forehead. An intense stomachache hit her. Crystal squirmed on the ground, trying to clench and fight the overwhelming urge to defecate. But she had overestimated her control. It was already crowning, about to erupt. She was a good girl who would never do something as crude as pooping in public. After a long internal struggle, she scanned her surroundings. Seeing no one, she laid out the large leaves she'd collected on the ground, lifted her skirt, and squatted. Pft, pft. A series of farts accompanied the bubbly stream of poop. She filled 5 entire leaves. Leah, who was watching from behind the tree, covered her mouth and nose, letting out a muffled whimper. Ugh, Serena, you're a monster for making me watch this. I, wearing sunglasses and pinching my nose, just chuckled. The best is yet to come. After wiping with a leaf, Crystal looked at the pile on the ground and gagged. But leaving her waste in this beautiful forest wasn't something a White Lotus heroine would do. Forcing down her nausea, she found a few more large leaves, wrapped up the poop, and prepared to dispose of it secretly. But just then, a few thugs jumped out from the bushes. Boss, I saw it with my own eyes. This girl's tears turn into giant pearls. That leaf package in her hands must be full of them. The lead thug's eyes greedily locked onto the leaf-wrapped bundle in Crystal's hands. That many pearls? Haha, I'm rich. Crystal was stunned. She instinctively took a step back, shaking her head. No, this isn't pearls. A lackey pointed at her and shouted, "Stop pretending. I saw it myself. Your tears turned into pearls. What you're holding has to be them." At the leader's command, the thugs surrounded Crystal. Haha, the pearls are ours, boss. Why don't we take the girl too? We can make her cry every day and have endless pearls. Good idea. Number 2. Haha. Looking at the leering thugs, Crystal trembled with fear. If she fell into their hands, would she even survive? Hand over the pearls, the leader threatened, brandishing a dagger. Terrified, Crystal didn't dare argue. With trembling hands, she passed the leaf bundle to the thug leader. The leader took it, puzzled. Why are these pearls so soft and warm? This doesn't feel like pearls. The second in command felt it too. Yeah, it's soft and squishy, almost like steamed rice. You don't think the pearls melted? The leader clutched the bundle, imagining it filled with huge, glistening pearls. He closed his eyes in ecstasy, took a deep whiff of the package, and then stuck out his tongue for a lick. Ugh, it stinks. The package was tied tightly with Crystal's hair tie. The leader couldn't get it open. Frustrated, he ripped the leaves apart, without the leaves to contain it. A pungent, sour stench filled the air. Piles of poop smeared all over the leader's hands, with some dropping onto his feet. His chest heaved with rage, his face flushed. He lifted his poop-covered hand and hurled it at Crystal. You little bitch, you tricked me with shit. Crystal turned and ran, but she was still hit. Her white dress was instantly stained brown. Help, kidnappers, help, Crystal screamed as she ran. When she reached the spot where Leah and I were hiding, the strong, sour smell wafted over. Leah leaned against the tree and gagged again. Ugh, I was already immune to the smell. I've seen my fair share of poop in my life. This was nothing. Serena, we should call the cops, Leah whispered, trembling behind the tree. I nodded. I already did half an hour ago. This place is pretty remote, but they should be here soon. Help, help, kidnappers. Crystal was too delicate. Her stamina was terrible. She was out of breath after just a few steps. Just then, Jaden appeared, little deskmate. Seeing the thugs chasing Crystal, Jaden's eyes widened. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tight, but her dress seemed to be stained with something sticky and smelly. Jaden looked at his own hand in disbelief. His long, elegant fingers were covered in a yellow substance. Sob, Jaden, save me. looking at the pitiful, tear-streaked face of the girl in his arms. Jaden pushed aside his momentary disgust. He smirked devilishly and used his poop-stained finger to gently tap Crystal's nose. "Little deskmate, if I save you, you have to be my little maid, okay?" Crystal didn't have time to think. She nodded vigorously. The next second, 10 handsome bodyguards in suits appeared behind Jaden. They made short work of the thugs, subduing them just as the police arrived. As he was being hauled into the police car, the thug leader was still screaming, "It was that damn girl. She tricked us. She pooped a lot and told us it was pearls." The students who had gathered around stared at Crystal with suspicion. "What? She pooped and said it was pearls? She's so weird. What do poop and pearls even have in common? Am I the only one who noticed her dress is covered in poop? Oh my god, she has poop on her nose. You can grind pearls into powder for face masks." Did she think she could use poop as a mask? Listening to the gossip, Crystal felt an intense itching sensation all over her body. She wanted the ground to swallow her whole. She scratched her hair anxiously, but it only made it itchier. Because of the incident, the field trip was cancelled, and the students were sent home. Crystal, however, was taken back to the King family mansion by Jaden to sign the maid contract. Before she left, Crystal glared at Jaden, her face a mask of humiliation. "I will never sell my body." Leah fanned herself, rolling her eyes in disdain. Who does she think she is? The King family would never want a woman who poops all over herself. They only recognize you, Serena, as the future daughter-in-law. Leah winked at me. I sighed. But Jaden also pooped all over the bus. I don't think I can marry him. That's true, Leah said, falling into thought. After Jaden brought Crystal back to his family's estate, he frequently bullied and pranked her. One time, Jaden got drunk, stumbled into the wrong room, and woke up to find himself in bed with Crystal. Crystal was both shy and furious. Their relationship quickly heated up. Meanwhile, today was Mr. King Sr.'s 80th birthday. As the eldest daughter of the Song family, I was naturally expected to attend. The party was held at the King family's grand mansion. Mr. King Sr., dressed in a festive red suit, sat at the head table, chatting amiably with guests. Jaden stood beside him, holding a cocktail, but his expression was twisted in a pained grimace. His hand trembled slightly, and his face twitched. He looked like he was in agony. A guest noticed Jaden's strange behavior. "Mr. King Jr., what's wrong?" Jaden forced out 2 words through gritted teeth. "I'm fine. Are you sure? You don't look well." Jaden, Mr. King Sr., said with concern. Jaden vigorously scratched his head, his expression a mix of relief and pain. "Really, I'm fine." The guests looked away. Seizing the moment, Jaden continued to scratch his scalp frantically, sending a blizzard of dandruff-like flakes into the air. I was sitting in a corner with a group of other wealthy girls, sipping my drink, watching Jaden scratch his head. I had to suppress a laugh. A lice infestation causes an unbearable itch that even washing can't fix. Hee hee. Oh my god, what is Mr. King Jr. doing? He's been scratching his head for ages. I put down my glass and stood up, walking towards Jaden with a look of concern. "Jaden, is your head really that itchy? Are you sick?" The other girls followed my lead, their gazes fixed on Jaden. "Yeah, he's usually so composed and cool. Why is he acting so out of character today? He keeps scratching his head. Oh my god, did he not wash his hair? His hair looks so greasy, and there's so much dandruff." I had brought my family's doctor with me. Walking up to Jaden, I looked at him worriedly. "Jaden, is your hair really that itchy? Maybe you're sick." Mr. King Sr. finally noticed that the flakes floating around weren't confetti but his grandson's dandruff. Disgusted, he jumped back from Jaden. The other guests also retreated. Only I didn't shun him. I called my family doctor over to examine him. "Mr. King Jr. has a lice infestation. His head needs to be shaved completely, followed by medicated treatment to get rid of them." Jaden nearly fainted. His signature side part was about to be shaved off. I sat next to Mr. King Sr. and said earnestly, "I've heard that lice can be transmitted from some farm animals. Or maybe Jaden hasn't been paying attention to his personal hygiene." At his own 80th birthday party, his favorite grandson was publicly humiliated. Mr. King Sr. was furious. "Get the clippers. I'm going to shave this disgrace's head myself." Jaden panicked. He was a bad boy. How could he have a shaved head? He was forced into a chair by bodyguards. Mr. King Sr. took the clippers and shaved a strip right through Jaden's perfectly coiffed hair. Seeing the hair fall to the floor, Jaden struggled and begged, "No, Grandpa, you can treat lice without shaving my head. Grandpa, if you shave my head, how can I face anyone?" The maid, Crystal, heard the commotion. When she saw Jaden being held down and shaved, her heart sank. She dropped the tray she was holding and ran towards him. Original text, Crystal begs Mr. King Sr. not to shave Jaden's head. I changed begs to curses. Crystal, who was about to kneel, suddenly straightened up, steadying herself on a table. Mr. King Sr. frowned, about to scold the impertinent maid, when Crystal stomped her foot, put her hands on her hips, and yelled, "You old bastard, fuck your mother, I'm gonna screw your." Crystal's pretty lips let out a string of unbelievably vulgar curses. As she cursed, she also started scratching her own head. Mr. King Sr. had never heard such foul language. He flew into a rage, slamming his hand on the table. "Get this wild girl out of here. How dare she act so outrageously in the King family's home? Guards, take her away." Crystal panicked. She didn't mean to curse. She tried to explain, but all that came out was, "Motherfucker, you old bastard, I'm gonna screw your." More vitriol. Mr. King Sr. couldn't take it anymore and actually called the police. When the cops arrived, she finally lost it. "No, I wasn't trying to curse. I didn't mean to." Jaden was now completely bald. He sat in the chair, his eyes vacant and lifeless. "Mr. King Jr., save me, please save me. I didn't mean to curse your grandpa." Crystal knelt on the floor, clinging to Jaden's leg, her eyes red and on the verge of tears. Original text, Crystal cries aggrieved tears. I changed tears to I poop. In front of everyone, a yellow, pus-like substance began to ooze from Crystal's eyes, emitting a foul odor. Crystal, oblivious, kept crying and shaking Jaden's arm, begging him to save her. Sob, "Mr. King Jr., save me, I don't want to go to jail." A blackish-yellow gunk mixed with what looked like chili flakes streamed from her eyes. Her delicate makeup was completely ruined. The sour, rotten smell wafted into Jaden's nostrils. Jaden let out a violent retch and, grabbing Crystal's head, vomited all over her. It was a scene straight out of a horror movie. The entire King family ballroom reeked. Guests were running out, vomiting. Leah hid behind me, trembling. "Serena, you absolutely cannot marry Jaden. He's terrifying." I suppressed my own urge to vomit and nodded vigorously. "I agree." Over on the other side, Mr. King Sr. had fainted. After he finished vomiting, Jaden reached out to wipe the gunk from Crystal's face. His voice strained. "Little deskmate, stop crying. I can't take it anymore if you keep crying." But Crystal couldn't stop the flow. A drop of the foul substance landed on her lips. She subconsciously licked it. In the end, Crystal didn't go to jail. Jaden managed to get her out of it. But Crystal also had her head shaved bald, touching her smooth scalp. Her expression was a mask of agony. She wanted to cry but didn't dare, afraid of what might come out of her eyes. Jaden had no choice but to order a few wigs for them both to wear. After a few days of rest at home, they returned to school. As the grandson of A City's richest man, Jaden's word was law at school. No one dared to speak a word about what happened at the 80th birthday party. Anyone who did would find their family bankrupt. That, of course, included me. I hadn't caused any trouble for a week, and the sweet romance plot was back on track. Jaden and Crystal were back to being bickering lovers, constantly teasing and fighting. Of course, everyone could tell they were wearing wigs. One day during PE class, while the students were out on the field, Jaden directed his lackeys to place a bucket of water on the classroom ceiling fan. "Hee, this bucket is right above Crystal's head. The second the fan turns on, she's gonna get soaked. Haha, you're a genius, Jaden, haha. I bet Crystal will be so mad she'll punch you in the chest with her little fists." Jaden looked proud. "I love it when she gets all teary-eyed. It's so much fun." After setting up the bucket, Jaden and his friends left. They didn't know that I had secretly used my system to move the bucket of water over to Jaden's seat. Soon, PE class was over. The students were sweaty and headed back to the classroom to turn on the fans. Watching the fan blades begin to spin, Jaden couldn't help but grin wickedly. "My dear deskmate, I have a little surprise for you." Crystal's heart skipped a beat. The bucket on the fan began to tilt. Original text, to prank Crystal, Jaden puts a bucket of water on the ceiling fan. I activated my modification system and changed a bucket of water to a bucket of poop. The fan spun faster and faster. With a loud clang, the bucket of poop tipped over, dumping its entire contents squarely onto Jaden's head. Jaden was about to explode with anger when he saw the fan spinning at high speed, flinging the poop that had stuck to the blades everywhere. He reached up in disbelief and touched his wig. Sure enough, his hand came back covered in poop. Ah, who did this? Who the hell did this? Jaden screamed. It was supposed to be a bucket of water. Why was it this stuff? With the fan on its highest setting, poop flew everywhere. The classroom fell into a dead silence, followed by frantic screams as students scrambled to escape. I pulled Leah under a desk, both of us trembling. Leah's voice was on the verge of tears. Jaden, is he sick in the head? Why would he put poop on the ceiling fan? Is he crazy? I shook my head, curling into a ball. He was probably trying to prank Crystal. Who knows? I discreetly took out my phone and started recording. The students fled the classroom. Jaden tried to run too, but in the next second, with another clang, the bucket, which had been caught on the fan, fell off. It landed perfectly on Jaden's head, trapping him. His mouth and nose were completely filled with poop. He could barely breathe. Jaden struggled wildly, but the bucket was stuck fast. He couldn't get it off. Gurgle. Save me. Gurgle. Crystal was sitting by the wall, with Jaden blocking the exit. She couldn't get out either. She could only scream helplessly. Help me. A glob of poop flew into her mouth, and she finally fell silent. Just as Jaden was about to suffocate in the poop bucket, the school security guards rushed in and managed to pull it off his head. Jaden's face was caked in a thick layer of poop, like a grotesque face mask. He opened his mouth wide, gasping for the foul air. Damn it. Shit. How did this happen? The fan was turned off, and the classroom finally quieted down. The students peeked in nervously. Once they were sure the fan was off, they dared to re-enter. They were immediately greeted by the sight of Jaden's poop-smeared bald head. The force of pulling the bucket off had yanked his wig off. Jaden had lost all of his cool, bad boy aura. He stood there, a bald man with a poop mask and a poop-filled mouth, screaming as he ran out of the classroom. Crystal was in a state of shock. Jaden's words, "I have a little surprise for you," echoed in her mind. She muttered to herself, "He's crazy. Jaden King is completely insane. He's a psycho. He likes poop himself and wants to make everyone else suffer with him. I'm transferring. I want to go home. I want to go home." I quietly sent the video I had just recorded to the head of the Song family, my grandfather, a rather stubborn old man. Me, sob sob, "Grandpa, is Jaden possessed or something? He likes to play with poop. When I marry him, is he going to force me to eat poop? Grandpa, I'm scared." Video attached. Jaden had already thoroughly embarrassed himself at his grandfather's 80th birthday party. He was unhygienic, had lice, and was publicly shaved bald. Not only that, he was entangled with a girl who publicly oozed poop from her eyes. After much consideration, my grandfather decided to cancel my engagement to Jaden. The Song family couldn't afford such a disgrace. Me, Grandpa, let's just call off the engagement. I think there's something not right with the King family. The principal of our prep school was a friend of Mr. King Sr. When he heard about Jaden's outrageous stunt, he was furious. At the Monday assembly, he publicly reprimanded Jaden. "Mr. King Jr., do you have any idea how expensive the equipment in that classroom is? Because of you, all the electrical systems are full of poop. They're unusable. The classroom walls have to be redone. You can play around with other things, but that was excrement. Excrement. Is this how your grandfather raised you?" Below the stage, Jaden stood with his shiny, bald head, clenching his jaw in silence, trying to suppress his rage. Crystal was no longer standing with him. She had moved to the very back row, her head bowed. She had already decided to transfer and never see Jaden again. On stage, the principal continued his tirade. "Do you have any idea that what happened at our school is all over the news? We can't even suppress it. It's on the news. Mr. King Jr., how am I supposed to show my face?" The story of Jaden the poop player spread like wildfire online. Everyone knew about the wealthy young master's special hobby. The principal was in the middle of his scolding, but he forgot that Jaden was also a pampered young master with a temper. Jaden let out a low growl, unable to take it anymore. He rushed onto the stage, slapped the old principal across the face, and started brawling with him. The poor old man was no match for him. In the end, Jaden was taken away by the police and expelled from the prep school. "Take this money and just accept my grandson. Sigh, Mr. King Sr. It's not that I don't want to. It's the principal of Preston Prep. He said not to. After being expelled, Mr. King Sr. went to every school in A City, but none would take Jaden. The principal of Preston Prep, after being beaten by Jaden, held a grudge and had put the word out, any school that accepted Jaden would be making an enemy of him. Just like that, Jaden was out of school. This was a huge headache for Mr. King Sr. It's worth mentioning that Jaden caught Crystal as she tried to flee back to her hometown. He grabbed her clothes, dragged her back to the King mansion, and slammed the servitude contract on the table. I changed, spat on the floor, to sprayed from his mouth. He ground his teeth, his expression dark and menacing, and leaned in close to Crystal, yanking her wig. He forced her to meet his gaze. Let me tell you something. You signed this contract, so you belong to me now. You're not going anywhere. Crystal burst into tears. Let me go. I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't like poop. Jaden sneered. You didn't say that when you were throwing yourself at me every day. You bitch. Stop pretending. With his public disgrace, Mr. King Sr. had given up on Jaden and started grooming another heir. Jaden, once the golden boy, was now an outcast. He snapped and blackened, beginning to imprison and abuse Crystal. In a twisted way, Crystal got her wish. She had successfully pushed Serena out and become Jaden King's woman. Everyone, look at the camera. Leah and I held hands, flashing peace signs at the camera. Click. We were about to take our SATs. Leah was bubbling with excitement. Serena, we're almost graduating. I want to go to the same college as you. I nodded. Okay, let's work hard together. On the way home, Leah suddenly brought up Jaden. Serena, do you remember Jaden King? I heard no school in A City would take him, so his dad sent him to a vocational school in the next county. They say he's into smoking, fighting, and drinking now. What about Crystal? No idea. I haven't heard anything about her since she transferred. She probably went back